can either be a nutritious meal or a guilty pleasure. We all have a weak side when it comes to what we like to eat. Whether they are healthy or not, some of these foods have interesting facts about them that you would have never guessed or thought of. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today's video talks about the 11 most interesting and useless facts about food. Before we move on, don't forget to drop a like. If you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on the bell icon to turn on post notifications. By the end of the video, if you have got any other fun, random, interesting food facts, don't forget to drop them in the comment box. Without further ado, let's begin. The number of hot dogs eaten on the 4th of July could stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles 5 times over. Americans eat around 150 million hot dogs each year on the 4th of July. Why? The custom of eating hot dogs on Independence Day was roused by a gut-churning annual event, Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. A hot dog company known as Nathan's Famous hosts an eating contest every Independence Day at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York. According to legend, it has hosted the contest almost every year on the 4th of July since 1916. The story that I have heard is that 4 immigrants were debating over who was the most patriotic on the 4th of July. The president of Major League Eating, who runs Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Competition, told Smithsonian Magazine. To resolve a debate over who was the most American, legend has it that 4 immigrants held a hot dog eating competition at our famous Coney Island stand, Nathan's website says. The only U.S. capital without a McDonald's is Montpelier, Vermont. It might seem like there's a McDonald's in every central city, but that's really not the case. If you travel to any prominent city in the United States or most other countries, it may seem like there's a McDonald's on every street hub. For the most part, yes. In 49 out of 50 state capitals of America, there is a McDonald's within the city limits. The odd city out? Montpelier, Vermont. It's not as blinding an omission as it might appear. We often think of state capitals as bustling big cities, but in over half of US states, the capital is actually not the biggest city. What's more, in terms of population, Montpelier is the smallest state capital with roughly around 7,500 people. Apart from being on the small side, Montpelier tends to prefer local businesses over extensive chains. So, McDonald's shouldn't take it too personally. It doesn't have a Burger King either, but in case you find yourself craving McDonald's fries in Montpelier, thankfully you don't have to travel too far. In the neighboring city Barrie, there's a Mickey D's and it has a Burger King too. The two chains face each other on Barrie-Montpelier Road, which links the two cities. Peanuts are one of the components of dynamite. Peanuts, like all plant products, contain oil. An oil is extracted from peanuts and it is used in the process of making glycerol. Glycerol is one of the main ingredients in nitroglycerin. For those who don't know what nitroglycerin is, it's an extremely unstable explosive. It's so unstable that even a jolt from being dropped can cause it to detonate. It's for this reason that very few people would handle the substance. It was the advent of dynamite that saw nitroglycerin become safe to use. Dynamite is basically a mix of nitroglycerin and diatomaceous earth or other organic materials such as clay or sawdust. It's these products mixed with nitroglycerin that make dynamite safe to handle. Nitroglycerin is actually the main product of dynamite. Nonetheless, there are other methods that can be used to make dynamite without using peanuts at all, so this little myth isn't entirely wrong and it isn't entirely true. Raspberries are a component of the rose family. So do cherries, apples, apricots, pears, quinces, peaches, strawberries, blackberries, and plums, which fall into the category. These fruits typically have flowers with 5 equal petals arranged around a central core. Unlike many other fruits once picked, unripe raspberries do not ripen. Raspberries are edible because they are the fruit of the plant species in the genus Rubus of the rose family. Raspberry fruits contain antioxidants, iron, and vitamin C and are usually eaten fresh, often with ice cream or cream as a dessert fruit. Jellies and jams are also popular, and the fruit is commonly used as a pastry filling and as a flavoring for certain liqueurs. Janitor, who worked in the Frito-Lay plant, came up with the Flamin Hot Cheetos. For 2 decades, Flamin Hot Cheetos has been one of the most popular snacks in America. In recent years, its legend has grown as word spread that they were invented by Richard Montañez, a Mexican-American janitor at Frito-Lay. The story made Montañez something of a Latino icon with 2 memoirs and a soon-to-be-released biopic based on his life. But when a journalist at the LA Times started looking into his feel-good story, he found a very different tale. Apple seeds contain cyanide. Apple seeds hold a cyanide compound, but it is measured in such tiny portions that it yields no harm. You would have to eat bags of the seeds, and even then the seeds have a protective layer that keeps the compound inside. In the 14th century, the Mayans and the Aztecs used chocolate as currency. They believed that chocolate was a gift from the god Quetzalcoatl and drank it as a refreshing beverage, an aphrodisiac, and even to prepare for war. The ancient Mayans used cocoa beans, which is the principal ingredient in chocolate, as a currency. During the classic classic Maya period, 250 to 900 CE, cacao was used to exchange for goods and services. The Mayans never used coins, but are thought to have bartered items such as maize, tobacco, and clothing. Like the Mayans, the Aztecs enjoyed the caffeinated kick of hot or cold spiced chocolate beverages in ornate containers. However, they also used cacao beans as currency to buy food and other goods. In Aztec culture, cacao beans were considered more valuable than gold. In the 1830s, ketchup was used medicinally. In the 1830s, tomato ketchup was sold as a medicine claiming to cure ailments like jaundice, diarrhea, and indigestion. The concept was suggested by Dr. John Cook Bennett, who later sold the recipe in the form of tomato pills. Previously, ketchup had been a concoction of mushrooms or fish. The addition of tomatoes meant it added a plethora of vitamins and antioxidants to the sauce. By the 1850s, as a considerable amount of people began to sell ketchup as a medicine, the market reportedly collapsed. Pistachio nuts can spontaneously combust. Due to their lower water content and increased oil content, pistachios are inclined to self-heating. In fact, if transported in large packs, they can spontaneously combust. Basically, it can happen anywhere there is a large amount of combustible material being stored. As this material decomposes or breaks down, heat is induced. This heat becomes trapped within the material and builds up. If enough air is trapped, the auto-ignition temperature will be reached and the goods will spontaneously combust. This is specifically true of high-fat foods like nuts. Any high-fat organic substance may tend to undergo such self-heating during the decomposition processes. If you store enough fresh pistachios in a container, things get very hot as they start to decompose. If conditions are right, they can go up in flames. However, the same is true of peanuts, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and cashews. The most stolen food in the world is cheese. Indeed, one of the more interesting facts in this series is that the most stolen food in the world is cheese. Yes, you heard it right. Approximately 4% of all the cheese made in the world gets stolen. It isn't just any shoplifter who steals cheese for their own consumption. Most of the 4% figure is induced by the larger scale black market operations where the goods end up being resold to restaurants and stores. Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. I bet you didn't know this one. This fact tends to only be known by botanists who seemingly get their kicks from deceiving the public. Bananas, kiwis, and cucumbers are all classified as berries. Strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are not. And now you will question everything you believed you knew. Well, you have reached the end of the 11 facts about food. We hope you enjoyed these random interesting facts about food as much as we did making them. Which one of these food facts surprised you the most? Do comment down below. Stay tuned to our channel to find out more. Until next time.